If the word eternity makes your heart race a little faster, you're not alone. Maybe it hits you at 2 a.m. when the world is quiet, or when someone you love passes away, or even during a worship song about forever. That vast, endless concept can feel more terrifying than comforting. But what if I told you that your fear of eternity isn't actually about eternity at all? It's about not knowing the one who holds it. By the end of this video, you'll discover that eternity isn't something to fear, but the most beautiful promise ever made to you. I'll never forget the night I couldn't sleep because I kept thinking about forever. I was maybe 12 years old, lying in bed, and suddenly the concept of always felt so overwhelming I could barely breathe. What would I do for all that time? Would I get bored? Would I still be me? The questions spiraled until I was in tears, genuinely terrified of the gift I'd been told was supposed to be the ultimate blessing. It took years for me to realize that my fear wasn't about eternity itself. It was about a God I didn't really know yet. The turning point came when I stopped thinking about eternity as endless time and started seeing it as endless love. Here's the thing. Being afraid of eternity is completely normal, and it doesn't make you a bad Christian or someone with weak faith. In fact, it often means you're thoughtful enough to grapple with big questions, which God absolutely loves about you. But there's a lie we've believed that needs to be exposed. The lie that eternity is like being trapped in an endless, boring church service or floating on clouds with nothing meaningful to do. This lie makes eternity sound like a beautiful prison, rather than the incredible adventure it actually is. Think of it this way. Fear of eternity is like being afraid of the ocean when you've only ever seen it from a distance. It looks vast and overwhelming, but once you understand its beauty and learn to navigate its waves, you realize it's not something to fear. It's something to explore with wonder. Let me show you what God actually says about eternity. In John 14, verse 2 through 3, Jesus tells us, "In my Father's house are many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I am going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am." Picture this. The God of the universe, who spoke galaxies into existence, is personally preparing a place just for you. Not a generic heaven, but a space designed with your personality, your dreams, your heart in mind. This isn't about sitting on clouds. This is about relationship, purpose, and joy beyond anything we can imagine. And here's the real key. 1 John 4 verse 18 says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear." Your fear of eternity dissolves when you truly understand how deeply, completely, and eternally you are loved. God's perspective on eternity is so different from our human anxiety about it. He doesn't see it as endless time. He sees it as timeless relationship. Like a master artist who never runs out of colors to paint with, God never runs out of ways to love you, surprise you, and give you purpose. He's not worried about you being bored in eternity, because He knows exactly how to fulfill every longing in your heart. Picture a parent planning the most incredible vacation for their child, every detail thought through, every joy anticipated. That's how God approaches your eternity, except His planning is infinite, and His love is perfect. So how do we move from fear to peace about eternity? First, start with relationship, not destination. Instead of trying to imagine what eternity will be like, focus on getting to know the God you'll spend it with. The better you know His heart, the more excited you'll become about forever with Him. Second, replace your what-ifs with what is. When fear creeps in, remind yourself of what you know to be true about God's character, His love, His creativity, His goodness. These don't change in eternity. They're magnified. Third, practice gratitude for glimpses of eternity now. Those moments when you're worshiping and time seems to stand still. When you're in deep fellowship and don't want it to end. When you see a sunset that takes your breath away. These are previews of the eternal joy waiting for you. Fourth, study what Scripture actually says about heaven and eternity. You'll discover it's not boring or static. It's vibrant, purposeful, and full of adventure with the God who loves you most. Fifth, talk to God about your fears openly. He's not surprised or angry about your questions. He's delighted that you care enough to wrestle with eternal things. Father, I thank you for this precious person who is brave enough to face their fears about eternity. Right now, I speak peace over their anxious thoughts. May they feel your presence surrounding them like a warm embrace, reminding them that eternity isn't about time, it's about love. I pray that you would give them glimpses of your heart, showing them the joy and adventure that awaits in their eternal home with you. Replace their fear with curiosity, their anxiety with anticipation. Help them to see that you've been preparing not just a place for them, but preparing them for that place. May they rest in the truth that the same God who loves them so faithfully today will love them perfectly forever. Let them know that eternity with you isn't endless time to endure, but endless love to enjoy. Breathe peace into their heart right now, Lord, and let them know that their future is not uncertain. It's secured in your unchanging love. If this resonates with your heart, I want you to know you're part of a community that gets it. Share in the comments below. What's one thing about eternity that you're curious about, or maybe even excited about now? And if fear is still lingering, that's okay too. We're here to walk through these big questions together. Subscribe if you want more conversations about the things that really matter. And remember, your questions about eternity aren't a sign of weak faith. They're a sign of a heart that's ready to discover just how good God really is, not just for today, but forever.